Yeah. I'm scared. Carrie found a stash upstairs in a box. Brand new ones.
Brand new ones.
In the network room. That's what John said.
Okay. That's great.
I'll do a quick watch.
I wonder where the other ones are.
Exactly. That's what's over here. These are fresh in the box. Well, maybe the one you washed today. There we go. I've never used it. Yeah.
Salesman will just get a bunch of straws and put this in the middle of the room.
Like it's a meal coffee pot today.
Everybody run out to their car and get their travel money.
Yeah. Been cooking all bring your stuff
Yeah,
today.
right. Super great with them. I had that coffee on my
I tried that one time on
years.
I tried that one time.
Yeah.
Over the
Yeah,
road.
that would not go well at all. I think I got it.
Here's the real test. You're on your built-in laptop mic instead of so it is, but if you ever launch OBS when this isn't plugged in, it's gonna default ceiling mic back to the wrong thing.
That was plugged in. I made sure the projector was plugged in.
Right, but last time you had OBS open, previously, you were in Augusta. Right. It's like the same way you have to change this.
Gotcha.
You also have to change that.
Definitely remember that ever.
Yeah.
Okay. So who's gonna do the staging?
I haven't seen Jessica. If she shows up, I'll ask her, but
Okay. Just make sure.
it's not complicated at all. The problem that they thought was a bug was that they had Anne-Marie test it out, and she went to the old link,
Oh, okay.
which is now just Monica's and only has staging consultation. So, I mean, you could demo it if you want. Literally, all it is go to this website and click on the button, and when it opens up, then it looks exactly like it used to.
This week's
Okay.
part of her training deal.
Yeah, I'm trying to get myself together
And,
too.
And that's it. They're used to that.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll do that.
It's just that
Yeah.
now, because we've split it up like that, all the staging consultations are scheduled based on Monica's availability.
So staging consultation means
Off
fit out the house.
Yeah,
Okay.
not bringing in any of our stuff. And so the other two are now scheduled based on Jessica's availability.
Okay.
So it opens up more slots overall.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, Cole.
How's it going, Rick?
I think pretty good, I guess.
You guess? How's it going with Mr. The Jennifer referral?
Oh, because I got one on either side of the counter.
Oh,
so
oh,
it's like
really?
It's like, oh my God. Well, we're gonna showing tomorrow, and we're supposed to be getting the sign out there. I gotta check with Rebecca to see if the custom things in. And I sent things to Ashley to get pictures changed so I can rearrange them.
Oh, good.
So I think the listing showing that just came from the Frank shop, the
Yeah.
battery show. So I gotta cut the page
good.
with him. I'm doing a deal with Oksana, and I think I know the answer, but I just want to confirm. So she was doing a deal with Dwayne on this townhouse in Camelot.
Okay.
Ellsworth. Dwayne already got all the documents from home, all the HOA. She can give those to me. They're not client specific.
Correct.
And as long as it's within 60 days, not much is changing on the financials.
Yeah, you could, yeah, if it's been that recent, probably not. You could ask if there's been an
I mean,
update to the financials.
what you're really looking at on the financials is basically past history to see if they're solvent enough. You know, within 60 days, they're not gonna spend $200,000 or something like that, so we should be good.
Right.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we were.
Learned when, I forgot to put that on the list for today. At Affiliates Day, Will Farley taught 3 classes and it's right in the contract. And I've been reading over it forever, but this question came up. Somebody said, well, how recent does that AOA packet have to be? And she smiled. She said, it needs to be accurate as of the date that's on it. So if it's 20 years old,
Jeez.
and she said, the reason I laughed is because my parents had that situation. My parents lived in like a 5-home subdivision.
Yeah.
And when they moved in, they were given the packet. It was time for them to move out, and nothing else existed. It was just 5 neighbors, nobody had ever done it. So they gave them the packet, and it was accurate as of the date of birth. And so that met the requirement. So yeah, as far as that goes, you're fine. But
Yeah,
like you
but
said,
I'd be blocking.
you just wanna make sure the
financials,
They've got some
yeah,
money
because
in
nothing
there.
else is really gonna change to make a hoot, you know? So it's the financials and stuff, and so I figured they would be good. Because you would have to do some hell of an embezzlement to make all of a sudden something look good, to not look good.
Yeah.
In 30 days.
Right.
You know, it's 30, 60 days.
Or if
so-
or if they've got some huge expense coming up.
Right.
What's the community?
Avalon Woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they've got private roads, so that would probably be their biggest.
Yeah, but nothing,
Repaving
they
that.
would show that they were talking about that wouldn't come up at one board meeting and then they approved it. That would have to be a change in all kinds of, bylaws and things.
Well, I mean, just the repaving, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
on
But still,
some
that
kind of
would have-
schedule that they save up for, and then they have to.
Yeah, and that would be probably in a reserve study, would be then be showing, because you don't wake up one day and go next meeting, hey, let's pave the road. You
No.
know, because I'm
It's on, at least in
I'm on
Mass
board.
it's on a schedule. And
Yeah,
so
it
the
takes.
my road is, actually right now, the utility company, which is the worst utility in the world, is digging up every water connection and replacing them because they've had so many leaks
Where's this at?
on the near. And
Okay.
mine leaked 2 years ago, and they had to dig it up. But they're doing every one now, which I hope means they're getting ready to repave.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't want to cut into that new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
I just,
you're good.
no, I think I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know, real for time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean.
So we have a mystery. Like you talked about this morning, there were 0 votes, straight down here. There were
Yeah, I
about 5
don't-
30 ones in the dishwasher. There were about.
Yeah, this morning I had a lot of stuff going on.
That's all I could find in all of it. Jerry found a brand new box. That's what's in the dishwasher.
Morning and welcome.
Thank you. It's not like we have 25 people.
Let's not schedule it, if I'm here and you're open, then I'll always Yeah. That'll work. Thank you.
You guys don't know about the bug troll?
It's you, isn't it? It's you, Zach. Told on yourself.
Somebody have a collection going on?
Yeah, as much as I'm here.
Yep. Smuggle them right out now.
Wouldn't mind. They're kind of small.
Exactly. Unless folks think they're, give it away.
I mean, the,
But I'll ask for everybody too.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it's another copy.
I'm not sure we've met officially. I'm Linda Peters. Good to meet you.
Yeah, I don't think we have. I've seen you around.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't worked together very
I kind of feel that way with the searchers, like I know a lot of the names, I haven't necessarily interacted face to face with them.
It'll take a little while.
It will.
Not long, not long.
The good thing is about being in real estate is, you know, everybody's pictures on the website.
Oh, that's
So-
Exactly.
Work smarter, not harder.
to this video.
That's the goal.
Help me click the channel link and
Right.
4 years.
Cool. Hopefully,
Wednesday or
even less that longer. Pick up on it longer before you.
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm quite
I told them not to give it to you, I just, that's for that one,
going into retirement, so I came in.
I was thinking more like couple things they were doing on 20 feet.
That's good.
Yeah,
You're
part
of what I'll be doing with the vacation piece.
Oh, great.
Working.
Oh, she bookmarked it.
Greg's sick again, like he was before he went to Alaska.
Oh, good point.
This time you don't get the blanks.
Well, you know what, I don't think it was me the first time, I think he's just carrying some Aaron Jean.
Sensing center.
It's his own fault this time.
What do you do?
Over there.
47 can look at all of the licenses. Will
Have him do it.
leave the
That might be
business.
possible.
No, no, sorry.
Just tell him that we said he's a
Only
weak little
47,
man.
but 47% will still be.
Remember the edge right now.
Really?
It's, yeah, it can be tough in the beginning.
He's not a good speaker.
And it's, you know, what I'm trying to go with now, business and development and stuff, is that
I think he was on his deathbed. Of course, I think in Alaska,
so
I think he
much
got
just
what?
survival. You know, trying to do this way, and
Yeah, I mean,
it's
well,
that
that's,
kind of thing once you get into it, but it's kind of like, okay, well, now I'm surviving. Now,
So he didn't hang in there.
improve and grow.
That's good. Look forward to hearing more about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, all right.
Good morning, Miss Debbie. How are you?
I am good. How are you and how's Becca doing?
She's due actually December 19th.
December 19th.
It's funny, I was just saying, just saying to Matt,
What's he doing? He's fine. They're keeping him away from things like gluten.
Yes.
But he seems to be doing okay with all this.
Well, I'll have
Did
to.
you see the picture?
Well, Easton has a little cranial helmet. But he's a trooper, doesn't even know he has it.
Cool mistakes where I
Yes. You and I spent our 80s together. So, SIDS has been greatly reduced. My baby's laying on 14 years. And they do tummy time, but since he's been born, he has always favored the right part. And so they change it to him so that when they change it, you know, he has to look to them to the left, in the bathtub, to the left. But he still faces the right, and so there was a little bit of, so they do discriminate. Now, in my opinion, if you did see him, you wouldn't have noticed. We did because all these things were glued into it. When I took him, I went along to the doctor, there were babies so you kind of see those okay.
I just assumed it was for.
Obviously, I don't It's not about me telling
And so he has to get out really quick, so because so even if it's turned up, but as you can see, he doesn't even know that.
All right, good morning, everybody. Trying to get started. Thanks for being here. The first thing I want to talk about, excuse me, is the little flyer that you got here. We normally have an official, unofficial social most months where we just get together, company provides some snacks, and everybody buys whatever kind of drinks they like. For the month of November, we want to make it an official, and really encourage everybody to come, bring your families. We just kind of want to exhale a little bit and regroup. We've had a lot of changes and a lot of uncertainty over the last couple of months, so we just wanted to make this month's social a little bit more of an official event. We're going to have a nice dinner, and that's it, just dinner and social. It'll be a cash bar. It'll be Cross Keys Vineyard from 6 to 8 on the 14th of November. Rebecca's got a great menu picked out. We'll have some food for kiddies. I hope y'all join us. A little bit of our personnel issues are settling down. We've hired an administrative specialist in Augusta County. It happens to be Greg Keeler's daughter, Joanne. So she really impressed us in the interview. I think she's going to be a great addition to the team, and best of all, she can start right away. So she's going to start training this week. You'll see her up here working with Rebecca and Elizabeth and Katie and Lois probably too. So that situation is getting settled down. On Amy's position, we had a good pool of candidates. We've had our first round of interviews. We have 3 that we invited back for the second round of interviews, and all 3 second interviews are today. So by the end of today, we should have a pretty good handle on what's going on. John created a homework assignment for them for the second interview, where he gave them some pictures of houses and pictures of people, and asked them to come up with a marketing piece for a listing and a bio for this fictional agent. So we'll see what they come up with. But yeah, by the end of the day today, we should have a pretty good handle on what we're doing. Jeremy and Sharon are participating in the interviews along with John and me. So that's wrapping up. I don't think any of those 3 people could start right away, but hopefully by middle of November we'll have something here. I think most of us got that email scam yesterday, and I saved it. I hope it works the way I saved it. This is not sure why it's not working. Who got that one? That was from a fake title company. Okay, I got it. I don't have any closings happening right now, so I knew it was a scam, but it was a great example of how hovering over the link will tell you right away that it's a scam. Did anybody do that?
Well, I was on my computer so you could see it, where it came from.
Where it came from, but if you hover over the link where it said click here,
I didn't do
the
that.
address that it took you to was something like "We love dogs," something.
Yes.
And right away,
Yes.
you knew it was a scam. So that's a really, really easy way. If you're hesitating on clicking somewhere, just hover for a minute and see if the address that it's actually sending you to really makes sense. I thought that was pretty fun. Okay, we have a new staging site, which looks a whole lot like the old one. Once you click one thing, Jessica's going to chat with us about it.
Yes, so we're constantly improving our staging. If you guys don't know already, I do all of the vacant homes and the item retrievals, and then Monica does all of the consults. So it got a little confusing because when you guys scheduled stuff, she would then have to forward it to me, yada yada. So now when you go in, this is what you'll see, and when you click on the staging consult, it'll take you to an Acuity scheduler where it has Monica's availability. And then vice versa, when you click on the item retrieval or the vacant home staging, this will take you to my schedule, my availability, so that it's a little more clear when we're available, and should hopefully open up more windows. But if you don't see a time that's on there, message one of us, because we do have a backup, for either one of us, so if there's something urgent, just let us know and I'm sure we can get it done for you, so.
Great.
So question, the
Mhm.
link that I
Yep.
used last night,
Uh,
is that same spot still okay? It'll just
No,
now look
so
like this,
now,
so I
yes.
have to do something, I have to download something
You'll
different?
use this site, but even if you go to the other site, I think it'll forward you to this site now.
This is
I-
staging.kleinmay.com.
Okay, well, I just had a shortcut
Monica's
saved on
home
my
staging.
phone.
Okay.
And last night I was like, I'm sorry, I'm so incompetent, but is this the
No.
right spot?
I do think Spencer said it.
Randy, he's asking
Is it-
if she
it'll-
uses the old staging one or that one with the
So
design.
is this not on our?
Well, I just have to
Staging
move
link
it
is
from my
broken.
phone if
We
it's
don't
not.
actually own that link, it's
Oh.
part of the website, so it
Okay.
just won't work anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
It'll be updated on the dashboard. I'm gonna call the guy today because they're taking too long, but, so the other changes we want plus this will be on there.
And we'll
This is
send you
just-
an email with
yeah.
this link so you
That's
can
great.
save a shortcut. on your
Also, this one
computer.
is just staging.kleinmay.com.
Oh,
And that's the convention for all of our stuff, mail.kleinmay.com, it's whatever the thing is, .kleinmay.com.
But yeah, it'll be on the dashboard. You can bookmark it like that.
Okay. And this, they were telling me earlier, this thing is actually connected to Jessica's and Monica's Outlook calendar. So as she books appointments for herself, this adjusts. So this should be always accurate. Yeah, pretty slick. Birthday announcement. Just a quick reminder, Kathy asked me to bring this up. She runs into this issue quite a bit with some of her listings that are not in cell area. Just get in the habit of opening your CentralLock app every day before you leave the house. When you open it, it will connect and update the list of houses. And then even if you are out of cell service, and it's a new lockbox, say, it will still work.
Oh, great.
Can I ask you what that means exactly? And this probably came in because I called Kathy in a panic yesterday about 1 mile from one of her listings. As I was getting closer and closer, I'm like, oh crap, this is not gonna be good. And she told me the same thing, and I had thought of that before I left the house. My old app, like I would refresh it and you could actually see it like refreshing
Right.
itself. The new one, so are you saying all you have to do is open it? Because I was sitting here trying to like refresh it and it
Right,
wouldn't do anything.
just open it.
So
and it'll
just
automatically
open it like
connect.
this,
Mhm.
before you leave the house or
Right.
before you leave the
That's
office,
it.
and you
Right.
should be okay.
Oh,
That's what they say.
Because I did not
Yeah.
believe that.
I haven't experienced it firsthand, but that's
Uh-huh.
what the tech folks say,
Okay.
yeah.
But do you
Because remember,
remember-
this is Bluetooth.
Yeah, but do you
So you
remember
don't-
the old one? Like you would actually do like a little swipe down or something. You could kind of see it refreshing
Yeah.
itself,
Mhm.
and that
That's
was
comforting.
comforting to me.
It is
Just the
comforting.
fact that I opened this and I was going into the boonies of Folks Run did not comfort me.
Right.
So.
But it
alright.
should work, so.
maybe, yeah. For extra scared, open our lock boxes, you know, we go into that or something.
Well, but it wasn't my lockbox.
Oh, it wasn't your lock, right?
Yeah, but if you really want to make sure it's refreshing, I think if you go to that, because it'll have to pull down the
Go
list of your
something.
lock boxes, then you'll know for sure, 'cause you'll see it doing something.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Still not comforted anyway.
No,
Okay,
it's
so
worth
this
it.
is an
It's
interesting
technology.
issue that's come up a couple times recently, and it came up at Affiliates Day in one of Laura Farley's classes. And so I wanted to, they have a kind of funny but also educational piece on Virginia Realtor that deals with this, so I wanted to talk about it just a little bit. So we know the seller's not required to disclose anything about the house, right? If there's anything wrong and they know it, the seller doesn't have to say a thing. They can't lie about it and they can't conceal it, but they don't have to voluntarily disclose anything. We, on the other hand, have to disclose any adverse fact that would having to do with the property that would cause a reasonable person to consider not buying it. And a lot of times, it seems like we're always thinking in terms of material defect, because that's our home inspection trigger. And so when we're talking about disclosures, we tend to think about that, which is a much narrower thing than an adverse fact. An adverse fact could be something in the property, something that affects the property, and doesn't necessarily have to be a material defect. It's much, much broader. So when we're talking about if we know about something, do we have to disclose it? It is broader than just a specific material defect. And so they've got kind of a funny Halloween themed piece with a couple here, and these are and they're the legal team, $50 contribution to our background.
Sorry.
They have to take the most conservative view. I think in some of these, they could be debated, but they're really interesting, and they kind of got me thinking. These are all real life situations that they got on the legal hotline. A large flock of vultures is continually roosting in a tree on a property I'm selling. They're out scavenging during the day when buyers are viewing the home, but at night they always return. What do I need to do about disclosing this? Okay, it doesn't have anything to do with the house, but somebody might, or a lot of people might consider that a negative fact. Their answer is interesting. There's no image less likely to add curb appeal than circling vultures. In this case, our legal team explained that if it's a property with a small yard and very few trees, it's a different issue than if it has several acres. If it's a small yard, the realtor would need to disclose this, as it might impact a reasonable buyer's decision to purchase this property. If the yard's expansive, however, a buyer would have to assume that wildlife would be coming to yard. So, situational, I would never think to disclose that. I think they specifically pulled ones that we would never think about, to kind of show you how broad this could be interpreted.
Oh, the next one is good. The next one is good.
I'm selling a property, and the former owner who died is buried on the property alongside her favorite horse. Am I required to disclose this to a potential buyer? Again, doesn't have anything to do with the house. But they say the cemeteries are not actually selling points. The legal team recommends disclosing this. Some local ordinances lay out specific requirements for the burial of a body. While some rural regions allow this practice, it's less likely to be allowed on smaller properties. Failure to disclose could lead to major issues down the line. So if you're a buyer's agent, do you think your buyers would want to know that? Have you had?
Yes.
Okay. That's usually the test. Is to flip. You're the listing agent. Is to flip it and say, all right, I'm a buyer's agent, and we're serious about this house. Would my buyers want to know this?
So they
If
more
you're saying
concerned
yes,
with the
then
person
probably
or
needs
the
to.
horse?
Yeah.
So-
I think probably the person from a legal
I mean,
standpoint.
you got
Yeah.
farm areas that have all kinds of animals. there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Lisa.
So Carl, remember my debacle earlier this year where a lady's dog was buried
Oh,
in the
right.
backyard?
Yeah.
And she wanted to ask the new buyer if she could go back and dig up her dog after she closed.
Oh my.
Remember that?
Just
Who don't remember that?
Wow.
And I know people, actually, we had a dog that we had to rehome about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And the folks that adopted it already had a dog buried in their backyard. And when my dog died, he was buried in their backyard too.
We have a little,
I think that might be pretty common.
yeah, we have a little pet cemetery from the people who lived in our house originally, and we knew it when we
Yeah.
bought it,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's several little.
Yeah. I think most people would probably be
It's
okay with that,
different
but.
than a person.
Person, yeah, person and horse.
It's a whole list, you get into all kinds of religious things and. All right, this one is number 3 is one that they talk about in class very often because it's just so weird and extreme. A resident passed away in one of my condo units. Now there's an odor we're having trouble removing. Do I need to disclose this death to potential buyers? So this is a kind of a trick question.
It is.
I guess because of the odor, yes.
Well,
I don't know.
It's the odors from the body.
Yeah.
Right, so what is the adverse fact? The fact that there's an odor or the fact that somebody died
the
there?
odor.
Mhm.
So that was their answer. You don't have to disclose the fact that somebody died there, but you have to say there is an odor that we can't get rid of. And when she tells this story in class, I mean, this poor person, whoever they were, was there a long time before somebody discovered them. And they tried every professional cleaning thing they could and could not get the smell out.
Didn't we have a real life
Bottom of the
situation
old hardwood.
in this office with that? Somebody tells a story about selling a house where someone had died in a bathroom and they thought they'd taken all care of it, and then someone finds out later that someone had actually laid in that bathroom for a couple of days.
Oh, really?
I'll talk to you about it later. I don't wanna start telling stories if it's not true.
Yeah.
I mean, who's gonna
So
buy a
those
house
three
that
together
hasn't
really
been
kind of
changed it?
make the point that we need to kind of broaden our thinking on what
Right.
needs to be disclosed. And like I said, I think the best way to do it is to reverse the roles and think about, if I were a buyer's agent, would my buyers want to know this? Questions?
Yeah, I have a
Any
question,
other-
Carl.
Yeah.
Are there specifics given as to when the disclosure is made? Because I've always thought that there aren't, and have approached it as, I will disclose this if it's relevant for someone who has serious interest in the home, rather than put it in the MLS and scare
Right.
everybody away.
Right.
So is there a best practice there?
That's a great question. I think, I don't think there's anything in there that says, as soon as possible or at the earliest opportunity or something like that that we have in some other regulations in the Code of Ethics. I think it's just before contract ratification.
I was trying to do it in writing too, in an email or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. And I agree. I mean, you can put something in agent remarks, but some of those disclosures, yeah, if you put them in the public remarks, it's gonna chase away folks unnecessarily. This is just an interesting little thing I stumbled across last night and wanted to share because it looks great for our area. If you're someone who posts things on social media, this might be a good one. This is, Housing Virginia is an organization that has done some presentations in the area here, and they partner with HRAR to do the Housing Summit. And they are all about affordable housing and trying to solve that problem in Virginia. And they had something on their site that was really interesting, and this is county by county. How do the counties in Virginia rank for health outcomes? And they talk about health outcomes in terms of length of life and self-reported, I guess this was surveyed, self-reported injuries and illnesses. And if you look, the lighter the number, the healthier the area is. And our two counties are in the best possible category. The cities within them are a little less healthy, which is normal. But that kind of surprised me a little bit, and I think it's interesting to see where that band across Virginia is. And then the least healthy places are the most economically depressed, which makes sense. But I just wanted to mention it if anybody's interested in it. I think I can download that and email it to everybody. But that Housing Virginia site, if you're ever looking for general real estate stuff, housing affordability, what's going on in Virginia, if you have an interest in that, those folks are really, really good.
What are the health concerns?
What?
Is that health?
Health, yeah.
Yeah. What are the concerns, radon?
No, this is overall physical health.
Physical.
People,
Physical
yeah,
health.
based on
Okay,
people's
I thought
length of
maybe
life and
environmental.
health and sickness. No.
Got it.
Yeah, good question.
And what's the site from?
Well, I got there from Housing Virginia. This one is something called countyhealthrankings.org.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we're a little bit slow in getting at our We've got our third quarter market report. It's pretty interesting. Some things I can't quite explain. But it's kind of interesting. So overall, this is as of the end of September, so third quarter. Year to date, we're just a hair ahead of last year, which is a little bit surprising given the inventory situation. 12-month sales also about 2% ahead of the previous 12 months. And average prices up about 3.5%. The median, we don't show it here, but the median's only up about 1.5%, which means that there's been more high-end stuff than really, really low-end stuff, which is a good thing for the folks in the luxury market. Our inventory is down to 2.5 months overall, which is 17% lower than last year, which we all thought was crazy tight at that time. Look at Harrisburg. Less than 2 months of inventory. And because that inventory has been so strangled, everything is down, including prices, which is puzzling to me. But sales are down 10% year to date, and 5% over the 12-month period right now. You would think prices would be going up in that environment, but maybe just the mix of homes. Southeast, just east of town, sales are up, which is good. I think that prices are up. I think that again kind of supports the notion that the luxury market is picking up some steam. And they actually have a little bit more inventory than last year, which I think also tells us that the luxury market folks in that segment are getting more active. This is the crazy, crazy lowest. 1 month's worth of inventory in Southwest, Bridgewater, Dayton, Belmont. Now, the interesting thing is sales are up 12%. So there have been more sales happening than through the first 9 months of last year, but they're hitting so quickly, there's almost no standing inventory. Houses have been hitting the market selling, hitting the market selling, hitting the market selling. There's nothing out there when you take a snapshot of inventory, but sales are actually up 12% over last year. And again, price is down slightly. Strange. Broadway Timberville area, really busy, up in all areas. Inventory's down, but not, it's funny what we consider not too bad, but that's, nearly 3 months is not too bad. And then Northeast, the lowest level of activity, but they're up a ton, so.
Not much up there.
Not much there, right? And then Massanutten prices have really been going nuts, and it has been a mix of, I think, actual values going up, but also many more 300 plus homes have sold up there this year, which is interesting. Inventory is sinking. Sales pace is about the same as last year. So our pattern is pretty much the same. Let me take some of these years off of here. So there's the last 3 years. This orange one is us. You can see the typical patterns, but for the last couple of months, we've been ahead of the past 2 years, and hopefully contracts are still strong. We'll stay ahead of that. That one pretty much gives us the same information. We're slightly ahead of last year. Had a much bigger September than last year. So here's our contract pattern. Kind of looks like a heartbeat, incredibly consistent over the past 10 years. But here we are in September. I forgot what that number was. 117 contracts in November, which is a strong number for this time of year. Very good indicator. And there's our 12-month sales total. So we have, very, very consistent, if you draw a line through all those ups and downs, rise in 12-month sales until 2016, beginning of 2017. That's when we really started to see the inventory get strangled, and boom, sales dropped for a while. And now we're starting to recover. I think people are getting used to this new normal. Plus the fact that interest rates are just crazy, historically low, is motivating people to buy. So this is Rockingham inventory. And it's really, again, it's funny what you get used to. You can see 10 years ago what we were used to, over 600 homes on the market at any given time. Now we're down to 200, and I'm thinking, this isn't too bad. We've been nearly steady for the past couple of years. After the big drop there, you can see towards the end of 16 through the beginning of the end of 17. The city, however, is about to run off the bottom of the chart. And you can see 10 consistent years of declining inventory. We had a little bit of a bump here in the middle of the year, and then they all got gobbled up, and we're kind of right back to where we started. Any questions about that? Comments?
We should probably send that to the city.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Planning folks should know.
So Augusta is a little healthier market. There we go. Remember, their market is a bit bigger than ours, probably 10% in terms of volume of sales. But their sales overall are up 8%, which is pretty healthy. Prices up nearly 6%. They are having inventory issues as well, but not quite as dire as ours. And there's a lot of new construction. You can see a lot of the sales, though. That bump in sales is City of Waynesboro, or places with a City of Waynesboro address. Stanton is just about even. Prices up though, but in Waynesboro, sales are up nearly 50%. Wow. Yeah. And Waynesboro fluctuates. Over the past few years, it'll be wildly up one year and then down and up and down. There's a lot of new construction there. That was about the only thing. I asked this question last time I was in the Augusta office, and that's generally the only thing anybody could think of is that would be a dramatic change.
Well, I find it interesting that, like, I actually go to Waynesboro for retail stuff, like shopping. It's Waynesboro.
He's in fact nodding his head there. He's told me before that they can get retailers that won't come to Harrisonburg.
And I guess maybe it's proximity to Charlottesville.
They're right over the map.
Right.
But then I always get this conflict in my head, but every time you open up the newspaper or hear the news, there's always something bad happening in Waynesboro. And I'm thinking, I don't want to go to Waynesboro, but yet I have to go there for things
But
that I
that
can't do in
retail
Harrisonburg.
effect and some of this, I'm sure, is folks that work in Charlottesville and can't afford to live there. Yep. Really interesting. And then the county itself, outside of the two cities, is actually down just a little bit, although prices are up. And you can see their inventory is 3 months, 2 months, 2.5 months. So there's the last 3 years, and this top line is this year. Again, we're ahead of the last 2 years right now for this time of year. Contracts are still pretty strong, so I feel like we'll stay there. Here we are with contracts, 177 contracts in Augusta County last month. In the Augusta 12-month trend is similar to Rockingham. We have this nice, steady, healthy line of 3, 4, 5% growth each year. And then inventory got super tight, sales dropped. Now the market's kind of adjusted to that new level and sales are picking up again. It all makes sense when you can look back on it. When we're in the middle of it, not so much. Their pricing, also very healthy, steady increase. A little bit fast, you know, they're 6% a year. That's probably too much to be long-term sustainable, but pretty healthy. Questions about that? Everybody moving to Waynesboro?
Carl, do we as Klein May have any projects going on for development? Seems like Old Dominion has a number of things coming on the market with new subdivisions, and I'm afraid that's gonna hurt our stats, because, I mean, I feel like we're trying to sell from an empty basket. Do we have anything as a company that we're working on that you can share or not?
Yes, I don't know if we can, if I can share it. You wanna comment on that?
Yeah, we got a couple of projects we're talking to the developers on, and, we have one that we're considering, like, bringing in an investment group in, so if anybody has any interest in possibly being an investor in a new development, that could be a potential. So, yeah, we got a couple that we're working at. Those are residential. Well, we've got both, but yeah, we've got a couple residential things we're working on as well.
Who was at Affiliates Day? I thought, what'd you think? Good event? Yeah, I thought so too. That was excellent, so, nice job. I guess I haven't officially introduced Paul. If some of you haven't met Paul, he was introduced through email, but Paul Watley is here. This is his first meeting. Make him feel welcome.
Welcome.
But Paul is chair of education?
Just on the committee.
On the education committee. Helped out a lot with that event. So that was our regular business meeting. Our own Jeremy Litwiller was elected president of HRAR for next year, and Debbie Knupp was elected to the board. Again, are you just continuing that? Yeah, way to go. So congratulations to you both. I guess presidents don't come to meetings anymore. He's probably busy with his security details. Any realtor opens today? Thing of the past. Jessica had a couple of listings she wanted to talk about.
I think I sent you one of the wrong ones, but that's okay. I want to talk about all of them.
That's interesting.
That is interesting.
This computer,
Where's Spencer when you need him?
it works fine in my office, and we get to this room
there you
and
go.
weird stuff happens.
So this one I actually already introduced to you guys, but I am having another open house this Sunday from 2 to 4. So if you have time also, I would love for all the realtors to come. It's a beautiful home. It's on 10 acres up on a hill, paved driveway. Pretty much all the way up to top. There's a little bit of gravel on the road that is shared on the way to the house, but there's only 2 houses that sit on this road. It would be the perfect spot for somebody coming from DC to just have a getaway. It's right off of 81 off Dices Spring. There's a 2-stall horse barn, a 3-car detached garage. So I mean, if they like cars, the neighbors also love race cars, so bring them on. But it's a really beautiful property, and I would love for you guys to come out. The whole basement's unfinished. My clients do have money available to put into finishing some things or making it what your client might like. They are motivated to sell because they are trying to buy a house in Northern Virginia after the beginning of the year. So come down and see us on Sunday. I'll be there from 2 to 4.
What's the little cottage?
$489. That's just a little like kids playhouse.
Oh, okay.
I think it looks larger in that photo,
Yeah, it
but
does.
it's just like it's a little kids playhouse.
Not an Airbnb.
No, it couldn't be that. But the basement is walkout. I mean, so you definitely could have people staying down there. What have you.
Any buzzards?
I haven't seen any. Lots of deer, lots of hunting. Yeah, it's a great place to hunt. No, maybe some horses. I don't know. So yeah.
Did you say this was the wrong one?
No, that one's right,
Okay.
but I have one more after that
Okay.
too I wanted to share.
You go.
This is 309 Woodbridge. Beautiful home. They just did all of this landscaping outside, and it just made it look so much better. But it's 3 beds, 2.5 baths, a little over 1,900 square feet. The whole first floor has brand new hardwood flooring. The HVAC unit is brand new as well in the property. It's got a huge, completely fenced backyard. It's about 1/2 acre, sits in a really nice cul-de-sac. They love the neighbors. They said it's the nicest neighborhood. Everybody walks their dogs in the evening and just talks to each other, and it's just a really good time. So it's a really beautiful house. They've kept really good care of it, but they're just trying to move out of the area as well. Beautiful mountain views too from the property. Amazing.
Staging is perfect.
Yeah, I told her, I said, can I just have all of your furniture when you move? Like, it's an attached master bath, his and her sinks.
How much?
$289. And we just had an appraisal done for, well, they did, for $293. So it is priced at $289. Most other houses in the neighborhood, I think there's one listed right now for $320, one for $400. So for the neighborhood, I mean, it's a nice value. And then if you could pull up 1221 King Edward's Way. This one I listed maybe like a week and a half ago, but since we didn't have the sales meeting, I didn't introduce it yet. So this is a really great community. There's paths all throughout. You can walk your kids to the elementary school. This is the first floor. It's got a nice open layout from the kitchen to the living room, and then there are 2 other entertaining rooms off of this area. Really nice screened-in porch off of the kitchen as well. Nice big windows there, so you can take a look out to the backyard, which is very large. A little bit over, well, actually under half an acre on this one. It has 4 beds and 2.5 baths, and then also a fully finished basement, 2-car attached garage, and this one's priced at $330. And I meant to say on Woodbridge there will also be an open house this Sunday from 1 to 3. Cheryl Powers is going to be hosting that. And then next Sunday I'm going to have an open house at this one, November 10th. So if you guys want to come to that as well. Zach has shown this one. There was a tenant living in it and she abruptly moved the next day. There was a letter from the county on the door that said she owed money, so I'm assuming she just skipped town. So he lives in DC. There is, a little bit of work that needs to be done to it, so we do know that. But bring us an offer.
That place is like on a quarter acre, right?
It's a half acre.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Right there. Garden of your dreams. Hey, I wonder if those lots can be divided too, like the city's saying you can do that. Lot of space.
Oh, that's nice.
Who else has listings that we'll share, please?
4416.
4416?
Yeah. I'm just bringing this back up to everybody to remind them, this house is for sale. It's been on the market 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we've had 1 showing.
Oh gosh.
I do not understand. It is absolutely beautiful. It is 5 miles south of Bridgewater on 42. It is beautiful. 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,300 square feet on a partial basement, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, and it's an open floor plan concept. The family room is just amazing. It's huge. Has an electric fireplace, like an electric rock fireplace. Huge deck for entertaining. Sets on 1 acre, just a little over 1 acre. And like I say, it's right outside of Bridgewater, but we have had nothing happening. I'm floored. Not sure what to do. Zillow shows like 1,500 views and 83 saves, which means nothing when you only have 1 show. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. So this is a mom of twin boys, 2-year-old twin boys, and like a 11-year-old boy. So she has the place immaculate to show, and it's just not happening. $295. And this is one of these domino effects. They have a contract on another property, and then that seller has a contract on another property. So this property needs to sell to make all Klein May
listing.
So someone said
this train with move if this one sells.
Cause all go together to buy the house.
So just wanted to bring it up again.
Anybody have suggestions or ideas?
I'm buffering,
for Lisa?
I don't know.
Does it have any outbuildings?
Yep, 2 big outbuildings.
Wow.
2 big outbuildings by the side and.
Are they garages or what?
No, there's a garage in the basement there, so you have a single car garage in the basement of the home, and then 2 separate storage buildings, over to the right of it. I mean, it sits on 42, so I'm gonna say that.
But the
Like,
front
you-
yard is huge, it doesn't
The front
set
yard's
right
huge,
on 42.
But it's on 42.
True.
And 42 is busy. I don't know. I'm really confused on this.
Yeah, there's your buildings, Basil.
I don't know.
Okay. Anybody else?
78 Blue Heron. So this one actually has, everybody has signed, this one actually came with me transferring over. Just hasn't been updated in the MLS yet as far as being with Climb A, but 2,500 square foot, 4 bedroom, 3 full bath, and a full unfinished basement, which is roughed in for another bathroom. Nice thing about this one is all the bedrooms are on the 2nd floor together. It's just shy of 14 acres, mostly wooded, and it's got 603 feet of river frontage on the Middle River.
Wow.
Well cared for house, hardwood floors. They just updated the kitchen with granite countertops, screened-in porch. It's got the wraparound deck. The wife actually is a artist and photographer, so I mean it's definitely been a house that's inspired a lot of art and photography for them. But just a great little house. Pricing wise, looked at, there haven't been that many homes with river frontage sold in the last several years, and so in terms of just looking at the land, the closest in the same neighborhood 2 years ago, there was 5 acres that sold for $16,500 an acre. So you figure with a little bit of market increase, that's kind of how we came up with the pricing. It is on a shared driveway with 2 other houses, but maintenance agreement and everything's deeded. Just a real nice house.
Yeah.
Have already done a realtor's open house and a public open house. Had a good turnout for both. Some interest, but haven't had any. Only had 2 showings actually scheduled. So, and there is they actually also there's a chicken coop, and they were raising some cattle. So it's large enough that and zoned that you could have some. A farmette. Okay. Anybody else?
I got a little townhouse behind DMV up there on Joppa Court, 3 beds, 1.5 bath. Coming live today. Would love to sell it to somebody besides Ronald Flores. So.
What's the price?
If you guys want to show it, that'd be great.
What price tag?
159.
We gotta get Zach to open up a little bit.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Don't bring your phone back today. Exactly.
Nothing wrong with Ronald, but I want the money to stay in this.
Well, we like that